The guys from Crazy Rich Asians talk dumplings, family, and representation.
We are here for a very special episode of Dish History to talk about dumplings. I'm here with the director of Crazy Rich Asians, Jon M.
Coming out August 15th, so be sure to check it out.
So your family is rich?
We're comfortable.
That is exactly what a super rich person would say.
Gotta go see that. And one of the stars, Jimmy O. Yang.
Hey guys, we're here in San Gabriel Valley, managing the 100 degrees heat just so we can be at this place, Wei Shang. It literally means it smells so good, you need to turn around.
Let's do that. Let's go in. I'm hungry.
It says pull.
Sorry, my bad.
He's a director, he doesn't know.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
But before we can eat, Jon and Jimmy show us how dumplings are made. Sort of.
So I grew up in a Chinese restaurant, but I know way less than this guy.
Because I grew up in Hong Kong.
Okay, so do you know how to do this?
Well, I could try. This is pork.
There's different regional styles, but generally, Chinese dumplings are protein and vegetables wrapped in dough, and they can be fried, boiled, or steamed. Chinese dumplings have been around for nearly 2,000 years, and they likely made it to the US with the first large wave of Chinese immigration in the mid-1800s. Since 2014, dumplings have expanded on American menus by more than 50%.
Do you feel a lot of pressure right now?
A lot, since my director's watching me.
Eventually, we got out of the way and let the professionals take over.
Ooh.
Wow.
This is what we're making.
Oh yeah.
Earlier.
Which one's the,
Oh, which
the
one?
weird odd
that,
shaped one?
Odd,
That
yeah,
looks
I
like
think
one of
I think that's
ours.
me. That's you. This is the Shanghai wonton
This is the
that me and Jon both
Okay.
grew up
Yep.
like making ourselves in our households.
There's a scene in Crazy Rich Asians
Yep.
where a family is making dumplings. What does that symbolize and why is that important?
Well, you know, it's a scene that's not in the book at all, but I wanted to show that this family wasn't just crazy rich, that they had love for each other, and that by making dumplings, one, that's how you say I love you. Well, I'm sure everyone can relate to that like food and tradition of making the food in the process is the love, actually.
Yeah, I think that scene was great. It really humanizes everyone in the story. It makes them so relatable. Because this is what every household does. Rich billionaires or any of us growing up.
My grandmother, every time I come home from school, she'd be making it, so we would have to make it with her and help her,
Yes.
and that's how we talked about school and caught up. And then that night, all the family would be together around the round table, and all the sisters, my mom's one of 6, they would have cooked meals for all the kids, so it was we had a dinner bell, literally a dinner bell.
Oh, that's cool. So we're eating dumplings, food that actual Chinese people eat, but in a lot of parts of the country, people think that orange chicken, that's Chinese food.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Well, I like Panda Express, but I know it's a different type of cuisine, right? I think the great thing about dumplings, in a way, drawing a parallel to this movie, it's a very authentic story. Xiaolongbao is such a thing now, like Din Tai Fung is like an international chain.
Restaurants like Din Tai Fung are introducing new people to Chinese dumplings in the West. The chain has 160 international locations that specialize in very popular dumplings. The first American restaurant opened in California in 2000.
We didn't try to water it down, you know, same thing with the movie. It was just a great story for everyone, and we weren't afraid to be like, oh, how do we make it more American? We're just like, we're gonna share our authentic story with you, and everybody's loving it so far, and hopefully everybody will love it, so I'm very excited about it.
One of the things that Crazy Rich Asians is getting a lot of attention for is the representation outside of Asian stereotypes that we've seen, predominantly Asian cast. Is that important to both of you? Or is it just kind of like, I just want to make great art and I'm not worried about that other stuff?
It was definitely a conscious thing. I knew for my daughter to see the story of an Asian American girl, Rachel Chu, played by Constance Wu, going to Asia for the first time was an experience that I felt very personally connected to.
A lot of times there's a lot of pressure being that one Asian dude, because then you get kind of judged by how good of a representation of Asian you are.
It's a lot of pressure.
Instead of just being judged as an artist, is my acting good? Am I funny, right? Like, I'm just being judged as like, is he being a good Asian?
Yeah.
This movie is so liberating because it's a whole spectrum of Asian. I can just be as crazy, as funny as I want to, because there's Henry, who's like carrying the romantic plot line, looking amazing. It was really special to be a part of something like that.
Do you feel like there's a certain box that society still tries to put Asian Americans into? You have to be this job, or you have to do this thing.
And not just society, right? I think it's parents, the older generation, because my dad's not wrong. Like when he used to tell me when I was growing up, he's like, pursuing your dreams, how you become homeless. That's not a real thing. He's like, you know, doing what you love, that's an American thing. You know, that's not what you do. You get a real job and then use that money you make to do what you love. When I started doing stand-up, I quit a job in finance. which is what my dad wanted me to do.
It's rough.
To do stand-up.
Right.
They don't even know what stand-up comedy is. My dad still calls it a talk show, and he still doesn't think I'm funny, you know? So I get it. I get where the fear is coming from. They just want us to like do things right, you know what I mean?
The thing that's interesting too is like we're having this conversation in 2018. Chinese Americans have been coming here in large numbers since the late 1800s.
Yeah.
But we also know that the United States government had stopped Chinese immigration for a very long period of time.
In 1852, California imposed a mining tax on foreign workers. And in 1882, the US government passed the Chinese Exclusion Act. It banned all Chinese workers until 1943.
Do you feel like attitudes are starting to shift in how people perceive Chinese Americans? Are we finally getting to the point where Chinese people are just a part of American society, not the other?
Yeah, I was walking down Beverly Hills, and a guy came up to me like, oh, finally, someone who speaks English here. It's about time. And
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, this was 2 weeks ago. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is going on? And you don't know how to react. Someone was writing racist stuff on our posters the other day, and you're just like, in your mind, you see the vision. When you're in environments where you're surrounded by people of all walks of life and everybody's having a great time, you see the future. You're like, this is the way it should be. You know it's possible. By doing this movie, give them more information of introducing them to all types of Asians, know that it's not just what has been fed to them in the past. I think human beings are good by nature and want to find the good in people. And that's our job as artists, is to continually to give people more information about us and who we are, and hopefully they see us as human beings so that we can move forward.
Telling more authentic stories like the book and of course the movie, it will make us all kind of gel together, not just Asians within the Asian community, but everybody.
Can people sort of get introductions into cultures and sort of become more acquainted, or do you think that Americans will separate the two things? So, well, I like dumplings, but I don't necessarily need to know that more about Chinese people.
I think they eat or they see something that they like. There's a natural tendency to be curious about and digging deeper, you know? I went on a date with a girl and she said, like, when I watched like The Crow with Brandon Lee, like that was like my sexual awakening. She told me that. So like after that,
Was this like a first date, or-
Yeah, it was. And after that, she like became like after seeing that movie, she became like really into Asian guys and really into Asian culture.
outside right now.
Yeah, so I think hopefully these would serve as like kind of opening the door to people to discover there's so much more, you know?
This idea that we just need to show more stories, share more of who we are through our food, through our fashion, through whatever it may be. People will see us as human beings. It's the fear that keeps us apart. So through the stomach to the heart is what we always have believed. And
Well, thank you so much for coming here. I've learned things about dumplings. I'm gonna try to use my chopsticks a little bit more.
Dumplings, high-level chopstick.
it is true. You gotta like,
you know?
I think you're being nice to me now.
Let's try.